It's busting probate real estate misinformation on the first page of Google, part 2. You may have seen our first installment, and it took us a little while to get through that. There was so much on just one blog about California probate real estate on the very first page of Google. We get into that next. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brendan Mohr, California Realtor and Certified Probate and Trust Specialist by the California Association of Realtors.
And I'm Bill Heyman. I'm a licensed professional California fiduciary. I'm also a licensed California real estate broker, a licensed Nevada realtor, and I'm a bonded and registered legal document assistant in both California and Nevada.
Now, please like our video right now, subscribe to our channel. Want your probate done for little to no cost? Well, every day we help people save thousands of dollars and eliminate headaches with our one-of-a-kind probate administration service and real estate listing combo. So please reach out to us about that, or reach out to us with any questions about probate real estate. Comment on this video. Our contact information is below, so please email, text us, call us, because we can help you. So you maybe saw our last video about this. We got into this blog. We got all the way down to a question, I think question or step number 7 of the process of selling a home in real estate. And it was so much misinformation. It was
A lot.
terrible. I mean, you probably see it a lot. You're probably going through this process and you're looking online and you're like, no, the internet says this, but my realtor says this, but the probate professional says this. Who's right? And I'm seeing that there's a lot of the same misinformation. I think it must be all regurgitated from the same place.
Could be.
And put on the internet. So let's get into it, Bill.
Let's do it.
Right. Okay, so this next one here, I think that we just finished with...
We're on make a deposit.
Yeah, I think we're on make a deposit.
Yeah.
Okay, make a deposit. Okay, so this is after an offer's been accepted. And this is, I believe they're trying to talk about court confirmation, which this is not, which they don't say that in this. So in a case of full authority,
This would have no application.
this would have no application.
But
so,
in limited, it would.
It would. So the winning bidder must provide the court with a cashier's check for their bid. They must also provide a check for 10% of their bid immediately upon winning. Okay, so that's a weird thing that it just says there. The winning bidder must provide a cashier's check for their bid.
And then on top of that, 10%.
That doesn't make sense. It's not correct. But now they must provide a check for 10% of their bid immediately upon winning, and that's what I've seen as far as in the instructions. So that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. And that,
now,
for limited authority, that's correct.
You may want to contact the court if you're going to a court confirmation hearing, and you're and again, this would only be for limited authority. And this blog doesn't say that. For full authority, this is not a thing.
Yeah, it says
you may want to contact the court beforehand, the court clerk, to see what their process is, because a lot of these are done over Zoom now.
Yeah.
So you can't just give a cashier's check right there. So I don't know exactly each court if
they must have. I agree with you, and I don't know the exact procedure for that since all that Zoom, because we haven't had overbidders at our. But Brendan, you're right. They've got to have some sort of way to do that. So Brendan's right. Contact them ahead of time.
So then it says, let's see, if they don't, the property will go to the runner-up. I suppose if they can't do it, then that could very well be it. Yeah. Sign the contract. A contract is signed between the executor and the buyer. The contract cannot include any contingencies. Okay, so again, this blog does not specify whether it's talking about limited or full authority.
It sort of sounds like they're staying with limited authority. What it kind of sounds like is that they're trying to say that if there's an overbidder present and the overbidder wins, then at that time a contract should be signed. And that's true. Yeah, there needs to be some sort of written contract in all real estate sales between buyer and seller. And the fact they say the contract cannot include any contingencies, that's true also because, as we know, once you go to a court confirmation hearing and the judge confirms a sale, there's no more contingencies. They're gone.
Now, what I don't want you to think by reading some of that, and this is something we get a lot of questions about. Yes, there are contingencies allowed in a probate sale. Now, most of even full and limited authority. Yep. Now, let's just say, it looks like they're looking at one with limited authority where there was court confirmation required. Yeah, the contingencies are allowed there. they just have to be removed before the court confirmation hearing, and you should really get through those quickly because you want to get through your inspections very quickly so that court confirmation hearing can happen. And then once the court confirms the sale, then even if you haven't removed your contingencies, well, the judge just ordered you to.
Yeah, the judge just removed them for you.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Now, in full authority, none of that exists. You know, the court confirmation hearing doesn't exist. It's similar to a normal sale. You can have contingencies unless the seller doesn't want to have contingencies. That's a contract negotiation, but they're allowed. Okay, so this next one, inspections. Oh my gosh. Buyers can request an inspection of the home. However, unlike a normal real estate transaction, buyers that back out of the purchase of issues discovered during the inspection will lose their deposit. Okay, I don't know why this one is listed so late. This is implying that inspections take place after a court confirmation hearing. Totally backwards.
Yeah, that's it's in the wrong place and it's not entirely correct.
Now, I suppose you could do that, but really a buyer, like say you were a bidder, I would be requesting inspection reports. I would try to go and look at this property beforehand because you would lose your deposit if you were a bidder and you didn't have any contingencies and won the overbid process at the end.
And then you backed out after that. You'd be in violation of a court order, which is a no-no. And on top of that, you would likely lose your 10% deposit that you gave to check.
Yes, so that's just not. And in the case of full authority, your deposit is protected by contingencies,
right.
Unless you don't have contingencies, and you would have to remove contingencies in writing for you not to have that. Okay, so this next one, closing. Approximately 15 days after the contract is signed, the buyer will close on the house. And again, I think this is talking about limited authority.
Yeah, or they could possibly be talking about full authority because
sure. Oh yeah.
There's a 15-day waiting period from the time you send out the notice of proposed action forms in full authority. So I don't know. It's confusing on that one, whether it's really if they're talking full or limited on that one.
Yeah, it just depends on what the contract. In a regular offer, if you offered a 21-day close, then it's probably going to close in 21 days. 30-day close, same thing. 15-day close. You'd really have to have the notices of proposed action. I don't even know if you can actually do it if the notices have to go out because of that 15-day grace period. 18 to 20 days is more doable.
Right, that's very true. And if they're staying here in line with limited authority, which it appears they're kind of doing, at closing approximately 15 days after the contract is signed, if they're talking about an overbidder that overbid and won at the confirmation hearing, they should sign a contract immediately. I don't believe it's 15 days. It's going to be as soon as you can get a certified copy of the order confirming sale to title.
Yeah, it can happen, somewhat quickly, but you have to get that first, and you could actually close that day, I suppose. The day of the hearing.
You could.
If we're talking about that. Now, okay, let's look at. Looks like they do an example. Many buyers and sellers get confused on the offer process for a probate sale, and again, this doesn't specify which authority.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Jane is appointed as the executor for her recently deceased uncle's home. She hires a real estate agent who markets the home and lists it on the MLS lists on the MLS. She gets the house appraised for $200,000. Again, it's not her that gets it appraised.
Right.
She receives an offer for $176,000, but declines because it's less than 90% of the appraised value. Okay, again, full authority, that doesn't matter.
Yep.
Limited authority,
you can get away with less than 10%. You really can. And see, she here, through misinformation in this example, she's turning down potentially a good offer on bad information that because it's not within 10%, she can't accept it, and that's not true.
So again, if you have full authority, none of that. None of that. It doesn't matter what the probate referee says typically. And in fact, as a real estate agent, when somebody tells me what the probate referee said, that doesn't matter to me.
And if I can, Brendan, just add in a quick, I'll say, little secret. It's not really a secret, but if you get to a court confirmation sale, and you're worried about the home the price of the home not being within 90% of the probate referee's value, you can go back to the probate referee and you can have a reappraisal for sale done by the probate referee. And you tell the probate referee, here's what our offer is. We need a reappraisal for sale. And I'll say 8 to 9 times out of 10, the probate referee will reappraise it so that you're within 10% of the value. So it's not that's done all the time. That's done, especially if in this example, $176,000 offer is truly within current market value.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
On June 1st, some guy named Bill.
Don't trust him.
I don't know that Bill guy. Makes an offer for $190,000. Jane accepts his offer, and the court date is set for June 30th. Jane raises the price. Oh gosh. Jane didn't raise anything.
No.
But to $210,000. What? That's okay.
Yeah, this is so.
That's not even the formula.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
And soon receives another offer from Howard for $190,000. She accepts this offer as well. Congratulations! Now you have two
offers that you've accepted,
two offers that you've accepted,
which you can't do.
Okay, so
Wow.
That's not how it happens. Okay, so on June 30th, Jane, Bill, and Howard meet at the probate court, and the judge says, "You guys don't know what you're doing."
Yeah, if he says it that politely.
Yeah, if he says it that politely, he might. I've seen judges get mad at people. Yeah.
I have too.
Okay, so Bill and Howard petition the judge for confirmation of their offers. This is like just a garbage paragraph almost.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at
Bill gets his offer at $190,000, but Howard raises his offer to $200,000, but does not want to go any higher. So Howard wins the conversation. Bill does not want to go any higher. Okay. Howard provides a cashier's check for $200,000 to the court and a regular check for 20% of the deposit.
Why would he give the court $220,000 when he just bought it for $200,000? See, that makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense. There's nothing. None of that makes sense. No, that's way off. You don't. One, the court confirms a sale. You would show them whatever their process is, and find out from the court clerk about, the deposit. But typically, the escrow company is going to be handling the final proceeds.
Yeah, you would the buyer typically would present the 10% deposit check, cashier's check, and then you would get the certified copy of the order confirming the sale over to title. And when title is closing, that's when the other, in this case, $180,000 needs to be in there.
Yeah, this is just pure silliness. I don't know. It's like I don't know who wrote this.
I don't either, but it's not right.
And again, first page of Google, and this is not unique. I found, and the reason I'm bringing this up, this is one of many instances.
Yeah.
But again, this has nothing to do with full authority, and really doesn't with limited authority. Anyways, okay. So the court signs a contract, but there are no contingencies allowed. Okay, in a court confirmation hearing afterwards, it's been.
The court's not signing a contract. The judge will sign an order that confirms the sale, but he's not signing a contract.
Howard may ask for inspections, but he can't back out of the contract. I guess if he's an overbidder, maybe he would. He would, but he would lose that deposit.
Yeah, 10%. And the money, he's already bought the house. Any money he spends on inspections at that point is money, that he's losing unless he was planning to do inspections anyway after he obtained the property. That's, that depends on that.
This next part is weird. If he does, he can't back out of the contract. If he does, he loses his deposit. That's fine. But in approximately 15 days, all parties will close on the property. That's not accurate either. As we've talked before, you can certainly close as soon as you can get the money and the order confirming the sale, a certified copy to title. Okay, so this next little section here, they called pros and cons of buying a probate sale. And that's probably how I came across this one, because I was researching I couldn't think of that many cons for a video that we did on that subject. Right. So pros of a probate sale. Probate sales have one major benefit: reduced prices. They've said that before in this blog, and then they contradicted that in this blog. Yeah. And it just isn't really the case. I'm sure a lot of probate homes are fixers, and fixers in general aren't as as expensive.
Right, but they're still going to go for the
Yeah.
market value of the fixer. That's what they're going to go for.
Since heirs are usually not interested in putting in the money or work to improve a property, you can often find fixer-upper properties that you can resell for a big profit. I don't know if the word "usually not interested in" is correct.
I agree.
But it is common that's the case, that you can often find fixer-upper properties that are probate sales.
But we've had several properties where the family did want to do some fixing of the property before it was sold.
We've seen full rehabs, partial rehabs, even just from getting paint and cleaning up, that kind of thing. And they made the profit.
Yep.
Now, let's see. In many cases, the executor of a probate sale simply wants to get the house off their hands as fast as possible. Maybe so, but
situations
if
like
there's,
that.
You got to be looking out for the estate and all the other heirs or beneficiaries. Typically, is not the best thing just to think of it as fast as possible.
Yeah. Now, there are certain situations where that applies. In fact, we're working in one right now where trying to beat a foreclosure sale date.
Yes.
And you need to get it. You need to get it sold as soon as possible to avoid foreclosure.
There's no guarantee that the bank's going to
postpone. You can't guarantee that. So
there's efforts that can be made, but now in many cases, leading them to list the house at prices up to 40% below market value. Okay, here's the thing. Even if you list the price before 40% below market value, you know what's going to happen? The market's going to speak.
You're going to bid up.
If you're an agent out there and you listed it, any agent watching this knows exactly that. They're probably yelling at the screen right now.
Yeah.
What happens if you list a house 40% below market value? You get to practice. You're going to get a lot more practice in presenting offers.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, you're probably going to get 100, 200 offers.
Yes, the market's going to speak.
Yep.
You're probably going to get a really high offer, maybe accept one or do a multiple counter offer. But that's what happens when you underlist a property.
But wouldn't you say, Brendan, that it's extremely rare, if ever, we have had an executor or administrator list the home for 40% under market?
I can't think of one.
Yeah,
I can't think of one.
I can't think of one.
Yeah, no way. See, investors with a keen eye can make a killing off of undervalued properties. Look, you put it on the MLS and it's no secret. It goes out to everybody.
Yeah.
Listing it a little bit below what you think you can get for it is in my opinion, is a good strategy. It gets a lot of people really fighting for it.
Yep.
But 40% under investors. You don't have to have a keen eye to understand that it's undervalued. A lot of people are going to see it. Probably in many cases, there's going to be 1,000 investors looking at that property because it's undervalued. That's not the way to do it. An investor, I don't know. I've had it where investors do think that, and they still try to even lowball, and I tell them, we're above the list price. Why are you giving me an offer for? I've already told you we're above the list price. We're getting offers well above. You just give me one below. Okay. Let's maybe do this last section here, and then we might have to.
You might have to wrap it up because we don't want to go too long on it.
Cons of a probate sale. Okay, there are some cons. Okay, there are several issues with probate sales. Homes are sold as is. Technically, all homes are.
Yeah.
But that's more common in probate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much so.
In fact, leaving personal property behind. I mean, the thing is all that stuff affects value. So if you're a seller, a family of one going through probate process, it's more common. Disclosures are limited. There's all sorts of great things that are benefits of selling it through probate.
Don't we find, Brendan, or you find too that, like you said, in probates, home sales, as is more common, obviously, but don't you also find that a lot of probate sales, they tend to say or state in the listing that there's not going to be any credits or repair work done or some things like that? Or
no repairs done, that kind of thing. That's really common. So I mean that's a great benefit. Now I think this is going on the perspective of buying a home in probate. What the cons are: that homes are sold as is. Okay, executors in probate in probate sales don't usually fix up homes at all. So buyers need to be ready to put in some work and some money to get a home that's up to snuff. For the average buyer, this is a con, but it can be a great opportunity for investors. Okay, yeah. I mean, I would
agree with that.
That's fine. I don't know about usually don't fix up the homes at all, but yeah, it's common that they're fixers. The process takes a while. Not true.
Yeah, that's not true.
Probate sales are not quick.
They can be.
They can be. They often are as long as a typical sale. Anyways, they take. Oh gosh, I don't even want to.
I didn't want to say that.
I don't even. Yeah, this is like so bad.
Probate home sales take years to reach completion. That's just not true. That's a false statement.
Oh gosh, with so much bureaucracy involved, buyers need to expect a purchasing process many times longer than normal.
As we've said many times on these videos, that with full authority, that's simply not true. With limited authority, it might be true to a much smaller extent than what they're saying.
Yeah. Okay, so this last paragraph, then we will complete this part.
Yeah.
No contingencies allowed.
Totally false.
Totally false.
Yeah.
Absolutely false.
Yeah.
That's up to you as a seller, or if it's a limited authority once the sale has been confirmed. But as far as getting into contract, there's nothing that says contingencies aren't allowed.
Contingencies are allowed.
Although most purchase agreements have some contingencies. What? I mean,
they always have contingencies.
There's the purchase agreement itself has contingencies written on it. Whether you fill it out or not, you can remove the contingencies.
Right, but they're there.
If you don't address the contingencies on a regular purchase offer, California Association of Realtors purchase agreement form, which is by far what is most commonly used, the contingencies are on there.
Yep.
Now, probate sale. So it says although most purchase agreements have some contingencies, probate sale purchasing contracts do not. It's the same contract. It's the same form. At the moment, it's the same form.
Yeah.
You just indicate whether it's a probate sale or not. Okay. Even if a major issue is discovered during an inspection, buyers only have two options: leave the agreement and lose their deposit, or go through with the purchase.
I'm having a hard time with all this. Wow.
This is just one of those things, why we battle so much misinformation. This is not the only place I've seen that on the internet. We have a video about contingencies. I think we have kind of two videos about contingencies in probate.
I mean, that's just a false statement. I mean, a major issue is discovered during an inspection. Yeah, they can leave the agreement, but if they leave the agreement, they're not going to lose their deposit. If they cancel due to a inspection problem with the inspection contingency, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, as long as they have that contingency, and that was agreed upon in the accepted offer, and they have not removed it in writing,
they're not going to lose their deposit. They're just not. So I can't agree with that statement at all.
Yeah, that or if it was a case of limited authority, again, far less common, and the court has already confirmed the sale after the court confirmation hearing, but you should have done your inspections before that anyways.
Yeah. And in a case like you just described with limited authority, if the court has confirmed the sale and the judge has signed the order, and then after that the buyer backs out, his deposit is going to be at risk.
Yeah, this is
this whole thing is kind of a mishmash of mostly false information. There's a few things in there that I agree with, but boy, there's a lot of bad information in there.
We can't get very far in this without finding bad information. Okay, so we're going to cut this into another part here because busting probate real estate misinformation on the first page of Google is turning out to be very long.
Very multiple parts.
So please, if you would like, watch our previous video on busting misinformation. Watch our next one that we'll post at a later date. And in the meantime, please watch one of our most important videos. You can bypass so many problems when you're working with a real estate agent who knows what they're doing. How to hire a probate realtor. It's 10 interview questions and a downloadable list of those 10 questions plus an additional 5. And it is linked next. It's going to appear right above Bill's head. So click on that right now.